Hello, welcome back to Dry Creek Beekeeping. So today I am going to be doing a unboxing and also assembly of a BeeCastle hive. Before I start this video, I would like to say thank you to the people at BeeCastle for sending me this hive. From what I've seen, they are a high quality beehive manufacturer. They make beeswax dipped hives. And beeswax hives are very good because they not only last for a very long time, but they also protect the bees from getting diseases. So, without any further ado, let's open this package. Alright. I can't wait to see what's in this box. I know it's going to be a hive, and I have a general idea of what it's going to look like and stuff, but I can't wait to see the quality of it. Because from what I know of this manufacturer, they do have high quality products. And look at that, they actually gave me frames here, little instruction manual. It has pretty good instructions here on how to assemble it, but I will be showing that in the video. Set that off to the side. And the frames here, they are waxed. I can tell that already. And not only are they waxed, but this is a thick coat of wax. You would not have to re-wax these yourself like with most brands. So that is very nice. And taking a look at the pieces for the frames here, these also look extremely high quality. There's no knots in the wood, and they're sanded very, very smoothly. Same with the top bars for the frames here. Alright, and it looks like they sent both screws and nails, which is really rare for a company because usually when you buy hive boxes, it's all nails, and sometimes that can cause the hive to fall apart. But this is both, so interesting. And same with the deep super frames here as the honey super, just coated in wax. And there's no gaps in the coating, it's all very uniform. And it looks like this here is the bottom board and also the bee excluder here. And both of these are coated in wax. Again, very uniform wax. And the construction of this is very sturdy. And it looks like this here goes to the honey super, and it has dovetail joints. I love dovetail joints on beehives because a lot of beehives will eventually fall apart over time just because of natural wear and tear, but with these dovetails it lasts so much longer. And again, coated front and back in wax. Now that I've gotten down to this part here, I can smell that it is probably cedar wood, which again is very nice. It's pretty impressive how they fit 2 deep supers and a honey super into one box. Looks like I'm almost down to the bottom of the box here. We got the inner cover, a nice red wood, which again makes me think that it is cedar. And even this is coated in wax, which I'm kind of surprised about. Not complaining though. And the outer cover here, it looks like probably galvanized steel, I would guess, not stainless steel. And it is waxed as well. And they even sent me a queen excluder. Very nice. Alright, now we're done with the box, I can show you guys how to assemble these. And I actually moved inside to show you guys how to assemble these, since it's easier to do this on a concrete floor rather than a table. So the easiest way to do this is to put the long pieces onto one short piece first. And that will make it easier because then you don't have to try to fit a long piece into two short pieces. And with these dovetail joints, you're going to need to put it on like this here, and then hammer it in that way. And you don't want to just take a hammer straight to the wood here. You probably want to get a different piece of wood, set it on top, and then hammer it in, or a rubber mallet could work as well. So now with the hammer, once you get this lined up and put that on there, just lightly tap along it. And just like that, you can see the edge of this is flush with this. And that's how you know that you got that in there. And these will kind of stay together pretty well on their own. So I'm going to put all the pieces together and then I will screw them into place. With this top piece, what you're going to want to do is line it up. So first, you line up these bits with the bottom part here. You can even like push them in by hand a little bit. And then take the top part and line it up there. And then when you tap this into place, it'll actually tap both sides. So you don't have to do, you don't have to flip it around when you do this. And just like that, this box is put together. So now it's time to screw the screws into the holes here. Now, since these are pre-drilled holes, you can just use a normal screwdriver. It will take a long time to get all the screws in, but it shouldn't be that tricky. And I'm just gonna test it out real quick. But I am not going to be putting in the screws myself that way because that takes a lot of time and effort. Instead, I'm just gonna be using a drill. When you're doing the screws with a drill, make sure not to tighten them too much as it can crack the wood. Also, for this part of the box, the front part, there's a screw hole here and a screw hole here. For these, you're going to want to use the smaller screws, whereas for the edges, you want to use the longer screws. So a comparison of those here, you can see how much smaller the smaller ones are. And that's because for these edges, you can see there's not as much wood to go through. All right, and that is one box done. This is Deep Super. And again, you can see here, there's 4 screws on the long part, and then the short part only has 2. And you want to use the shorter screws for this side and the longer screws for this side. All right, so now for the frames here, I'm going to be showing you 2 different ways to do that. So in the instructions here, it only says to hammer nails into each corner of the frames, but I personally, in my experience, have not found that that is a good way to keep your frames from falling apart while you're beekeeping. So I take a couple extra steps to make sure that they can actually stay together. So I'm going to assemble these frames real quick and then I'll show you what I do. And I will start with the Deep Super frame. So you don't need the wax foundation just yet with this. What what I always like to start with is the top bar and the two sides. Now with this top bar, this groove has to be facing towards you, and then these go in straight up like this, and they should slot in pretty well. And then you take the foundation, set it in there between those two. Then you take the bottom bar, which also has a groove, face the groove down this time, and slot that in. And there you go. You have a pretty much finished frame. But if you were to use this frame without putting any nails in it first, it would fall apart. So I'm just going to start by hammering a nail into each corner. Alright, and this is where the instructions say to stop, but I usually don't stop here just because the frame can still fall apart once it's used quite a bit. And if a frame falls apart while you're beekeeping, then that's not very good. So what I like to do sometimes is take just a very small nail and hammer it into the side like this. And you only have to do this in two corners, I found. And doing that should keep the frame from falling apart during use, because now it is anchored in these corners. Now to assemble the Honey Super frame, I'm going to be using a slightly different method in wood glue. This is probably easier than hammering the nails into the corners like I did with the other one. And it'll probably hold for a lot longer as well. But you pretty much just do the same thing. Slot those on first, then the foundation, and then this top bar, or the bottom bar, but the only difference you make is that you put a little bit of wood glue in each of these joints. It doesn't really take much to stick these frames together pretty well. And then once you got all those with the wood glue, you still are going to need to put a nail in each corner just to anchor it a little bit more. And just like that, the frames are built. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick time lapse of assembling everything that they sent me, and then once that's done, I'll go ahead and I'll give my final thoughts on the hive and this company as well. Alright, and there we go. We got a finished hive here. So now I'm going to go over my thoughts on the hive and also the company as well. So, of course, beeswax coated hives are just amazing. Like, seriously. They look so good, but not only that, you never have to paint them. They last for so long. And also, it helps protect the bees from diseases. But not only are these hives beeswax coated, but I can also tell from the smell, they are cedar. They smell so much like cedar. And I just love that. Because not only is it going to be better for the bees, they will be more attracted to it, they will be less likely to leave, but also, aesthetically, it just smells really nice. The construction of this hive was very, very easy. That's what I loved about it. All of the materials here are high quality and cut so well that fitting the pieces together could be done by hand. Like, even the dovetail joints, which are very complex and usually companies get them wrong, just slotted together so easily. And then another thing that I like is the fact that they provide screws. Most hives are made with nails, and because of that, they can fall apart over time since nails don't have that good gripping strength that screws do. But this company, BeeCastle, provided the screws and pre-drilled all the holes as well, which is awesome. Not only that, most of this was already assembled. I mean, the bottom board, the inner cover, and the outer cover came assembled, which is really nice because if you've ever assembled a inner cover or outer cover before, then you know it's a pain. It's quite annoying. But it came pre-assembled. All in all, if you're looking to buy a wax-coated hive, try buying one through BeeCastle because these things are just so nice. And that's it for this video. Thank you again to the people at BeeCastle for giving this hive to me. It was really fun assembling it, and this is by far the nicest hive that I have. If you watched the video all the way to the end, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.